A new article from The Hill puts Shan Kirkpatrick, the lovely Dr. Shan Kirkpatrick, on blast. It's a great article. We've got to talk about that and a lot else today, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, I'm not going to read the whole article, but it is really great because it talks about basically the lies that Shan Kirkpatrick, the lovely Dr. Shan Kirkpatrick, has told. It goes over some of these statements that he has made. Well, first of all, it begins with a great quote. As an intelligence officer, I would expect all of you to expect me to lie to you. That's something Shan Kirkpatrick actually said. And then he accuses members of Congress of holding a religious belief in UFOs that transcends critical thinking and rational thought. You're part of a cult if you believe in UFOs. None of the UFO whistleblowers have any firsthand evidence or knowledge. Blah, blah, blah. You know, all the stuff that Shan Kirkpatrick has been saying, right? And but then it gives the counter argument. It rebuts Shan Kirkpatrick point by point, showing testimony from David Grush and others, highlighting how Shan Kirkpatrick is just full of BS. And it ends with, thus a key question emerges. Why would a former Pentagon official continue a long tradition of obfuscation and distortion about the enduring mystery of UFOs? Why indeed, Merrick? Why indeed? Obviously, it's because Shan Kirkpatrick is a tool of the control group. He is an overt agent of the cover-up. He is not just some bureaucrat who doesn't believe in UFOs. He is an overt agent of the cover-up. I've shown evidence of, from his resume, showing how he seems to be connected to the control group, and he is still connected to the control group. But of course, Merrick knows the answer to that question as well. But it is a great question and an awesome article from The Hill. However, honesty and open-mindedness about UFOs are not widespread across the news media, unfortunately. This is from a new issue of New York Magazine, How We Lost Our Mind About UFOs by Nicholas Baker. No aliens haven't visited the Earth. Why are so many smart people insisting? And it goes on, and, I'm not going to read it, but it is basically a hit piece on UFOs. And that's sad that this is still going on in this day and age where Congress has issued a UFO Disclosure Act. But it is still going on, so we just have more progress that we need to make, spreading awareness of the phenomenon. Oh, and I have to update a story I did yesterday. Yesterday I did a piece about George Knapp's new secret project. Ronnie Vernet reported that it was all about the Colares case back in the 70s in Brazil, or indicated that it was all about Colares. Well, Jon Stewart actually chimed in on the comments of that video, and he provided some new additional information. While the new project may have as one of its subjects Colares, it's not all about Colares. According to John, it's all about UFO crash retrievals. And it's probably going to be a docu-series on Netflix, maybe similar to the TMZ piece, but, by George, and focused on crash retrievals. Now, this is very interesting to me because I've never heard of any crashes associated with Colares. UFOs came out of the water, presumably, and, were attacking people, basically, and harming people. But I am not aware of any UFO crashes related to that. Now, the military did get involved and they investigated it and they experienced the phenomenon themselves. So could they have shot it and brought some of these craft down, or at least one of these craft down? Could they have gotten the UFO control group from the U.S. Or the part of it that's in the U.S. to come down and shoot at these objects for them? Always possible, totally possible. Much of the investigation that the military did into Colares is still under wraps. It's still classified. Only a few things have leaked out over the years. So, so if there's any crashes related to that, I don't know. But maybe George has discovered some. Maybe that is the new information that he's going to be able to provide about Colares. Either way, I'm very excited about George's upcoming projects, whatever it turns out to be, whether it's all focused on Colares or whether it's about UFO crash retrievals in general, but having Colares as one of its subjects. And thank you, John, for the awesome information. Meanwhile, how much would it cost for Garry Nolan to have his own lab, his own program that studies metamaterials and other UFO objects? Well, he answers that question. He says, you need 2 to 3 full-time PhD level scientists. You need to be able to pay for access to a range of equipment from commercial vendors. So you are talking between $700 to $1 million a year, depending on the scale of what you want as throughput. See, the instrumentation one needs is disparate. You cannot just buy the equipment. Some of it costs upwards of $2 to $6 million and needs a specialist to run it. You want to rely on something other than a bunch of network labs offering free services, because really what that means is grad students and postdocs taking time from their projects. While that's fine for one-off experiments, you need a standardized workflow with outputs that can be expected across several years. Grad students come and go, whereas technical services for hire are more reproducible. But it does sound like Garry is looking for funding for just such a project. He's looking for an anchor donor and maybe even some grassroots support. So I love it. I hope he gets it. I hope he gets that anchor donor. Well, one comment says, where's Bigelow when you need him, right? Right? So maybe we can get Bob on the case helping to fund this effort. Either way, I'm very excited to see what Garry does next. Speaking of Garry Nolan, he has some very juicy comments about Neil deGrasse Tyson. This is from the upcoming documentary with James Fox. He got Garry to sit down and ask him about Neil deGrasse Tyson, and Garry says, I can't play it because there's music in the background, but I'll relay what he says and I'll provide the clip to you and you can watch it at your leisure. But he says Neil deGrasse Tyson should not be respected, that he has broken his oath with science, in that if possible, if there were a tribunal for such things, his PhD should be taken away. That's right, shots fired from Garry Nolan saying that Neil deGrasse Tyson's PhD should be taken away because he has broken his covenant with science itself. Wow. I'll be very interested to see Neil's response to these stinging words. Meanwhile, not technically related to UFOs, but very interesting. Elon Musk says the first human received an implant from Neuralink yesterday and is recovering well. Initial results show promising neuron spike detection. I don't know what neuron spike detection means. Does that mean that he's smarter now? I have no idea. Does it mean increased brain activity? Who knows? Maybe it simply means a connection to the computer. Either way, really interesting. I am nervous about the days ahead where humans will be implanted with these devices. But let me know if you're more optimistic and excited about this new phase in human evolution. Meanwhile, check out this UFO video. This is from 2023. It's supposedly from a commercial aircraft. A passenger catches a cylindrical-shaped luminous object on the horizon. Okay, let's check it out. All right, does it look very tic-tac-ish? Well, to me, it looks very tic-tac-ish. Of course, the Tic Tac with the Nimitz incident, I think it was a little smaller probably, and it had little prongs coming off of it. So I'm not sure if this is exactly the same thing or not, but it could have been. Could have been. If this is a legit sighting, it could have been the exact same type or a very similar type of object. Let me know what you think. Meanwhile, check this out. A new Roswell video was uploaded by Eyes on Cinema a couple of days ago. It includes 29 eyewitness interviews. Here is one that the Juan had not seen before. Barbara Duggar, granddaughter of Sheriff George Wilcox, who saw the Roswell bodies, including a live one. What? Now, of course, she's just repeating what her grandparents have told her, but let's give a listen.
My grandmother stated that my grandfather went out there to the site. When he got out there, there was a big burned area when they first approached the area. And then they saw debris. He saw debris. I don't know if he was alone. She was not with him. He went by himself. She said that it was kind of like in the evening. And then when he came back, I asked her, I said, out of jokingness, did he see any little space beings? And she said, yes, there was 4 of them. And I asked her, I said,
4 of them. Okay, the audio is really bad, so I'm going to let you watch the full video at your leisure. But amazing testimony from multiple people about Roswell. I love it. I love it. Okay, in other news, check this out. From Nazca Mummies, we just witnessed an extraordinary and fascinating revelation alongside 2 teams of colleagues and international documentary writers. Our research enters a new phase with much more strength and newly obtained evidence. This is just the beginning, says Jose Mantilla. I don't know how to pronounce Jois. If you guys do, please let me know. It doesn't look like Jose. So that's probably an incorrect pronunciation, and I apologize. But it does look like we've got some international eyes on this. One tweeter or Xer posits Serena DC is potentially one of the filmmakers. And this is likely to do with the autopsies that are going to be done on one or more of the Nazca mummies. And I've already talked about that. So, very exciting development in the Nazca mummy situation. We've got, independent journalists and an independent team performing at least one autopsy on one of these beings, maybe multiple of them. I really hate to sacrifice one of these beings for this. There's only a limited number of beings, whether there's 10 or 20 or 100. Even if there's 100, I hate to sacrifice them. But if this is what it takes to allow more research on it and more eyes on it and more acceptance of these amazing bodies, then I guess that's, I'm prepared to accept that. Because this is UFO disclosure. If these bodies turn out to be as genuine as they appear to be, this is UFO disclosure, guys. Whether they're actually aliens or hybrids of some sort or created beings of some sort by the beings, either way, it's UFO disclosure. It's a huge story. Somebody on the channel asked me the other day to stop covering this. No, this is like the most important story of all time, and I'm going to continue beating the drum on the Nazca mummies. Last, check out this beautiful animation showing how the sun impacts Stonehenge, specifically how Stonehenge was arranged for beams of the sun to shine in. Check this out. At different parts of the year, the sun will shine right through it. Look at that. And that's supposed to be the arc of the sun. And then at a different part of the year, it goes that way. Isn't that amazing? And it goes right through those pillars. Isn't that incredible? I love this animation. The people that built Stonehenge really knew what they were doing. I don't think we still know quite exactly what all went down there and who built it and why. It seems like every 5 or 10 years, somebody comes out with a new definitive declaration on who built it and why. But either way, They knew some stuff, and it was really fascinating. I hope to go there someday myself. But let me know what you think about that and everything else covered today in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure appreciate it. Smash the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media, Facebook and Twitter links below. Love to see you guys there. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in an even bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store below, or by becoming a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there are plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.